Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Broke American Actor.
Hello.
How are you? Thank you for coming.
I'm good. It's 100 bajillion degrees here in LA.
Yes, it is 100 bajillion degrees in LA. But the
scared.
weatherman predicted 85.
It is definitely not 85.
It's definitely not 85.
It is much higher.
It's like a warm 92.
It's higher than that.
I have obviously someone that's got a little bit of a witty banter with me here in the chair for an interview episode of Broke American Actor. Shayna Gabrelle.
Hello.
Yes. A beautiful young actress here in the city of LA, and I mean that in the most flattering of ways.
Stop it! Stop.
And I'm just gonna get started. She's got her own personal experience as an actress. I think a lot to teach and some things for you to learn. So let's just get right to it. Why don't you tell the people what's your name and where you're from?
My name is Shayna Gabrelle, and I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you live now?
I live in North Hollywood, California.
North Hollywood, California.
Mm-hmm.
So you made the move to California.
I did. I've lived in multiple areas of California and have now briefly settled in North Hollywood.
And is LA, California the first metropolitan area that you moved to after San Antonio?
No, I went to school in Ohio in a little middle of nowhere town called Westerville, or affectionately called Western Mess. And then I lived in New York for 3 years, and then after doing a cruise ship job, I moved to Los Angeles.
Now, you're an actress.
Mm-hmm, sure am.
And how long have you been pursuing a career as an actress?
Well, I started acting when I was 4, but I started pursuing it professionally when I was 18. That's when I started working for money.
What was your first unpaid gig?
My first unpaid gig was in Pippin, and as I said, I was 4 and I played a little boy named Theo, and I got to say a curse word, which was pretty exciting for me at 4, which at least I'm told. I don't actually really remember being that excited, but I got to say dumbass.
Someone told you you were excited.
Yeah, everyone. There's even a video of me saying dumbass, and I had to roll my eyes, which I also didn't know how to do, so it kind of became a head roll. Yeah, it was like, big head roll.
Have you learned to
roll my eyes
settle that down a little bit for the camera?
I think anyone who knows me can say I successfully learned how to roll my eyes.
Okay, would you want to
roll my eyes for you?
Yeah, you want to do.
Asking me to roll my eyes.
Like pretend like I asked you to roll your eyes, but from over there. Like
from over there. So I'm gonna pretend like you're over there.
And then you're gonna roll your eyes at me.
And you've asked, okay.
Yeah, and then just like
Christian asking me to roll my eyes.
Exactly.
God.
There's still a little head roll there, I must admit, but it's not.
You gotta get a little bit of the head roll.
It's a combination.
Because if you don't do a little bit of the head roll, then it's not clear just how annoyed you are with the person who asked you to roll their eyes.
Agreed.
Roll your eyes.
Agreed. What was your first paid acting gig?
My first paid acting gig, actually, it was when I was 9. I did Annie, and I played Molly, which is the youngest one. I wasn't actually the youngest, but I'm really short, so I played the youngest.
Acting,
yeah. Yeah. Acting,
That's what
acting.
that is, yes.
That's acting.
Yeah. You know.
Pretending to be younger than you
Something
are. I think
that you're not.
everyone in LA is pretty used to pretending to be younger than they are on a pretty
and
regular
still
basis.
Not very good actors.
No, but they sure are pretty.
Yeah, that's true. So Molly in Annie.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know the musical.
Yeah, and this was this was in San Antonio.
This was in San Antonio.
Was this at a performing arts center or something?
It was at this theater called the San Pedro Playhouse, and they're still are one of the few theaters in San Antonio that pays. And I was really, really excited to get my little paycheck as a 9-year-old.
And how did you land this gig?
I auditioned. I went to...
how did you learn about the audition?
Well, San Antonio is a very small community of actors, so basically if there's any audition and you're in that community, you know about it. But this was, it's Annie, so this was posted everywhere because every kid wants to do Annie. And I was there were about 100 girls, young girls at the audition, and we all sat in the big, in the main theater. And we all had a number, and you would go up when it was your number, and in front of everyone you would have to sing. And at that point, I mean, I kind of sung, but I wasn't very good. I had like a little kid wispy voice, and I was so excited for Annie that I went to this voice teacher, Kim Bianco, who it was and is the best voice teacher ever.
Name drop.
Kim Bianco, I love you.
To all the San Antonio viewers.
To all those San Antonio, Kim Bianco, by far the best voice teacher ever. Ever. And she taught me how to belt.
And feel free to subscribe to this program, Kim Bianco.
Yeah, I miss you, Kim.
She just promoted.
Shout out to Kim Bianco. And she taught me how to belt, and I prepared this song for, to me at least, what felt like months. It probably wasn't that long. And I went up there, and it was the first big audition that I had to do that I really had to sing, and I was really, really nervous, and I sat there. My number was towards the end, so I sat there for such a long time just waiting to audition, and I sang the song called Born to Entertain from this show called Ruthless, which is about a little girl who kills people. It's a comedy.
Sounds like it.
It is. It's actually a hilarious show. And I got up there and I sang my song, and I was shaking the whole time, and I got off and I sat down next to my mom, and I just turned to her and I was like, I want to do it again. So yeah, and so I got Molly from that, and
you booked it.
I booked it.
Kim Bianco helped you book your first paid
Kim
gig.
Bianco has helped me book many a gig. But yeah, I booked it, and haven't looked back really ever since.
Now, what has been your most consistent type of paid work?
My most consistent has been tours and cruise ships. I've done 2 tours, I guess, yeah. Hershey Park counts. And soon to be 2 cruise ships.
Would you say that this format of entertainment is more of the stage live performance?
Absolutely.
Format?
Yeah, it's 100% stage, live, musicals, singing, Broadway type stuff. The Broadway.
What's the difference between a tour and a cruise?
One's on a ship, and one is on a bus.
Okay.
I think the biggest difference...
Does the tour go to multiple places?
The tour that I did a lot of upstate New York, into Canada, in the dead of winter, which was super comfortable. And we did go to Florida. We went to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which was pretty exciting. And the ship went to Bahamas and Caribbean, and then we did the Panama Canal crossing into Alaskan cruises, which was really, really cool. But I'd say the biggest difference as far as living-wise is on a ship, you have this permanent living space that you get to stay in, even though you're traveling, whereas on a tour, you're kind of living more out of a suitcase. You're hopping from hotel, motel, around wherever you're touring to.
Obviously, all the living expenses and the travel expenses are covered by the company.
What typically happens on a tour, which is also different than a cruise ship, because a cruise ship, you're not paying, you're living on the ship, you're eating on the ship, so you're not really paying for any of that. On a tour, you're given a stipend, or what's called a per diem, which is a certain amount of money to fit in all your living stuff, and they make it enough so that you can absolutely live and eat with that money. But what a lot of people will try to do is maybe get a less expensive hotel than the one that the tour planned, so that they can save their per diem and it's not taxed, so you get to keep that money in your pocket. So that's kind of what a little difference is. It can be a little more expensive to live on a tour than on a ship.
Makes sense though, but that's kind of like per employee discretion, right?
Yeah.
How can actors find work in tours and cruises, and once you have been booked, what are some of the unexpected requirements that an actor will have to fulfill to actually work in these fields?
So to find the jobs, it's kind of the same as finding film work. You go on LA Casting, you go on Actors Access. Backstage is one that's I think there is some film work on backstage, but it's mostly stage, which can include tours and cruise ships. Also, if you're depending on the cruise line, I'm pretty sure all cruise lines, if you go to their website, for example, I did a Disney cruise ship, and if you go to Disney, you can find their audition page, and it just lists all auditions they'll be having for the parks, for the ships, for anything. And then the next one I'm doing is Norwegian, and I'm sure you can go to Norwegian's website and they'll list auditions for performers as well. But the way I got the Norwegian audition was I went initially to a call for a show that the producers for the particular show I got cast in were doing for a show called Scorsese, which is playing here right now. And then from that, they called me in to audition for Brat Pack, which is the show I'm cast in. And that's how I got that. And Brat Pack just happens to be performed on Norwegian. So it's not, Norwegian doesn't produce the show. They contract out to this other company that do shows called For the Record. They have a show Baz in Vegas, Scorsese here, and Brat Pack on the ship. And they hire them, they put the show on the ship.
So did you audition for the company For the Record?
Yes, I auditioned for the Record.
And did you find a breakdown for the job that was posted by For the Record?
Yeah, well, they called me in straight away, so I got an appointment.
Because you had formally worked with them?
No, because I had gone to the open call, which my manager had gotten me the open call for the Record. And from there, For the Record called me indirectly for Brat Pack. And then I believe the breakdown I saw was on Actors Access, so they were still using that. It was just, they called me in without me having to submit.
Okay. Nicely done. It's always
Thank
nice
you.
to not have to look for the breakdown.
It's really nice to get appointments.
Yeah. And then, are there any unexpected requirements that actors, you could maybe warn them about, that actors need to actually work in this field? Passports, anything like that?
Well, yeah, you need a passport to work on a ship. And even for a lot of tours that may go out of the country, I mean, anything that's going to take you out of the country, you need a passport. I'd recommend any actor who's considering tours or ships have a valid passport just ready to go at any time, because you could lose the job if you don't have a passport that could get you on the ship in time for it. And I don't know if they're necessarily like unwritten requirements. It's just things to plan for. You'll usually have to get a medical done, so being healthy is helpful, because you wouldn't want to lose a job because you're not
No
healthy.
STDs.
No STDs. Yeah. Drug testing is a big thing. So
I'm out. So
staying clean is important. It's different for every job. Is going to have different things that you just kind of learn as you're doing it that aren't formally written in your contract for the job. Just ways of life. But I mean, for the most part, having a passport, having any sort of paperwork in order. I can't even think right now what kind of paperwork you might need. But then also just staying healthy, staying clean. Once you're on lots of tours and ships, drug test while you're on. So it really is.
Seems like drug testing's a big
Drug
issue.
testing is. They don't want you to be on those drugs. So you gotta stay.
And so many actors are on drugs, Robert Downey Jr., who I guess is
not currently on drugs.
He says.
It hasn't been. Robert Downey Jr. is not on drugs.
Robert Downey Jr. is not on drugs.
Robert Downey Jr., if you watch this, you're awesome.
I think you're awesome too, even if you're on drugs. Like, I don't mind if you are on or off drugs, because the work you're doing is pretty brilliant right now. And if everyone finds out that you did all this brilliant work while you were on drugs, we're all just going to applaud you anyways, right?
Kids don't do drugs.
Kids don't do drugs.
Dare.
Like young kids. Like
I don't remember.
Under 10.
I don't remember what DARE stands for.
Okay. What is the best part about performing on a tour?
I mean, honestly, the best part is getting to do what you love and make money doing it. Like getting that to be your full-time job on a daily basis is basically what I think any actor's trying to accomplish, to get to wake up every day and know like the way that you are taking care of yourself and paying your bills and doing everything is by something that you're passionate about and that you love to do. That's absolutely the best part. And then, I mean, of course, you make a family on the tours because it's a group of you and you're stuck together, which it can be really awesome and sometimes not always so awesome, but you make this little family, and they're people that you'll remember for the rest of your life that are there for you. The ship I did was 9 months, and my cast, Wonder 28, shout out Wonder 28, hashtag Wonder 28. Hashtags were a thing that I think started while I was on the ship, so I came back and there were people just putting the pound sign before things, and
It's not a pound sign.
well, it is actually a pound sign.
It's a hashtag.
In reality.
Hashtag.
It's a pound sign. But all those people, a lot of them live in New York, but I keep in contact with them, and they saw, I mean, I was on the ship for nine and a half months.
You said that.
Yeah. And, so I mean, they saw me through awesome times and through not great times, and they were always there, and just always this wonderful group that I knew was my family. And same with other jobs. One of my best friends, Cassie, I met doing a tour. Hi, Cassie. Hi, Cassie. And I'm gonna name all of you
forward
guys.
this video to everyone that
you
she
guys
has
will
name
be
dropped.
you guys will be
You will see this.
tagged.
Yeah. That's why you're tagged, because your name has been dropped in the video.
I'm not gonna remember to tag everyone. Hershey Park was the first post-college professional job I did, and that group of people I am still so close with, and we have so many stories that of ridiculous, probably not wise choices that we made while doing the job, but it was just, you know, you live with them, you eat with them, you spend months on end with them, and they become these wonderful, amazing people that just really affect your life in this kind of odd little world that you're existing in. And it's just you guys, and it's great. It's wonderful.
It sounds suffocating. What's the best part about performing on a cruise?
The best part about performing on a cruise, aside from the friends and the family part that I just said, is the travel. You work in evenings, and during the day you get to go off and go to the beach and visit these places that you would probably never otherwise really go to, and you get to go there regularly, so you get to learn all the spots, and you get to go to all the places that if you were just, let's say, taking a cruise, wouldn't have time to do, and you get to see. I mean, I went from Nassau and Key West and Cozumel to a Panama Canal crossing and hitting Cartagena and these beautiful old historical cities, and then on to Alaska.
And then what is the worst part about performing on cruises?
The disconnect from home, the isolation from home. You're overseas or on the water, and you're traveling to places outside of the United States, so it's access to Wi-Fi, to your phone is not impossible to find by any means, but it's much more limited. Calling people, you can't just pick up your phone while you're on a ship and call someone, and it's the hardest thing is definitely leaving for these long periods of time and leaving people behind. That is just much harder to stay in contact with. As I said earlier, when I was on the ship, that hashtags became a thing. There were lots of things that I left, and when I came back, things were just very different because I wasn't part of the real world for such a long time. So it was this huge adjustment period coming back and figuring out what was cool and what was
Can't wear flip-flops to everything anymore, right?
what the new fashion was, but also just what's going on with your friends, like friends who maybe you could only talk to once a week, so they're going to leave out a lot of things because you guys want to get to maybe what is important in that moment.
Nitty-gritty, right?
Yeah.
Right? Loved ones, right?
And come back, find out people are married, someone had a kid, and
crazy.
Yeah, and so that's hard. It's hard to.
That is possible in 9 months, though. Biologically,
it's absolutely.
that is possible. Okay, and then specifically, what's the worst part about performing in a tour?
Kind of the same thing. It's easier to stay in contact with people, but the isolation is always, I think, the worst part about tours or cruises or anything that takes you for a long period of time away from your base, where, a lot of my friends, they're living lives where they're staying in one place and building their life there. And when I would leave and I would hop from tour to tour and I'd only be back in New York for 3 months at any given time, it was hard to it was hard to maintain a lot of friendships. It was really hard to have any sort of romantic relationship of any kind because I wasn't ever home long enough to really incorporate myself back into people's lives. And so
all you could use was Tinder.
Yeah. Because that existed back when I was doing tours.
Oh no, it didn't. This technology.
Actually, I think Grindr definitely existed, but that wasn't really geared towards.
Well, gay men motivate a lot of the media development anyway.
Yeah. So
I think need to find a way for more gay men to be able to fuck randomly. So that's
I think Tinder didn't. I'm gonna stop him there.
I think just heterosexuals got jealous, right? Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, we want to have sex randomly
too, right? Like,
and then we took our way to have sex randomly and made it more of like, let's get in a relationship with this app.
Yeah. Like, I'm looking for my husband on Tinder.
I know people who have had long-lasting relationships from Tinder.
Can you imagine your marriage was founded on I swiped right? Because, she was hot.
Why
else do you swipe right? Right? Because it's like...
True, yeah, you're not... No one's going on Tinder trying to find people's deep personalities and dreams.
Like, wow, look at the teeth on that one. I bet we could have a good conversation. Right? Like, because there's some girls on Tinder that's just like, why are you smiling like that?
I'm not going to lie to you, because it's true. Because when I joined Tinder, it was just kind of like, oh, it'll be really fun to... It's awful to say, but to, judge people and they don't know it. I can just, I could be as shallow as I wanted to be, and no one...
most of the other dating apps they have the same exact software, so... Dating apps aside, if you could do the last 5 years over again, would you do anything professionally different?
No. I've been really fortunate since graduating college to constantly get to make my living doing this. And that's really all I've ever wanted to do. Of course, there's further goals. I'd love to do more film and TV and have more job stability, and the bigger your name gets, the more job stability you get. But the way I've run my career, and I, up until recently, didn't have agents, managers, or anything, so I did most of it on my own. And I made my living and continue to make my living getting to do exactly what I've wanted to do my whole life. So I don't think I would change anything. And I think the stuff that I wasn't exactly pleased with, I've adjusted, and I think that's what anyone does. You take what you really loved about stuff and improved upon the rest.
And the stuff you really didn't love, you just forget about it.
I pretended like it didn't happen.
Never happened. That guy never happened. What is your plan then for the next 5 years of your life?
Well, I'm gonna get on this boat and...
You're getting on a boat?
A boat.
Why don't you tell the people about...
I am leaving in a month to do, for the record, Brat Pack. I'm the female swing on Norwegian. The Norwegian Escape.
That's the name of the boat.
That's the name of the boat. So if anyone wants to take a cruise and say hi to me, I will be on the Norwegian Escape doing Wine Lovers the musical. So anyone who knows me knows that's appropriate.
So 2 shows.
2 shows.
Brat
I'm doing
Pack
2
and
shows.
Wine Lovers. So you're that skilled that they wanted you to do 2 shows.
Yes.
I'm gonna add a little teeth flick. So no, but so that's the immediate. So but what's the long? You said you had some. You have goals in film and television. What are some of the what are some goals you have for yourself for the next 5 years?
I'd love to. I have 2 awesome commercial agents and a manager who's also awesome. I don't necessarily think you need a theatrical agent to book competitive work. I think you need a theatrical agent to book work in film and television competitively.
Do you have any advice specifically that you can think of right now for young actors that are looking at this, or maybe not looking at this, but are considering choosing a career as an actor?
Yeah, I think the biggest, most important thing is to just not let it tear you down. To keep going at it. Eventually, things will happen. It's physics. Eventually, you will hit something. You just have to keep going, and it can become.
Is that physics or math?
It's physics.
You sure?
Yeah.
I feel like it's law.
Something in motion will be in motion. No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that's the
physics.
law of
That's
physics
physics.
that we were doing. Forgive me for interrupting.
That's physics.
Physics. So it is physics.
Everyone.
Because once a force
An object in motion will stay in motion.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So don't ever slow the motion.
Yeah.
Keep the motion going.
Well, it can be. I think it can be really easy to get torn down in this business because you'll hear a lot more no's than you will yeses. Absolutely.
So you feel like there's a lot of rejection.
There's a lot of rejection, and
I've heard that as a theme.
Yeah.
With many of the people that have sat in that chair.
There is, and I think that it makes it sound very depressing, but it's not. It's really, I couldn't do any other job.
Well, I feel like the title alone is a little depressing.
Yeah,
Broke American
Actor.
I'm not highlighting the glitz and glam of the American actor for sure.
It's not a glamorous job by any means, and I think even the overnight success stories were never really overnight success. I rarely do have, the people who were sitting at a cafe and they're like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, I need to make you a movie star.
I mean, for what it's worth, before we go on, it did happen in the 50s when LA had about 10 million less people, and all of the Hollywood industry people did all hang out in the same places, and so it wasn't totally...
Even then, it wasn't super likely.
But, I mean, even then it wasn't super likely, but then the probability of it was
higher
than of it happening. Now, no. Not at all. We've created a machine of casting. If you're not in the machine of casting, you're not going to be seen by the machine of casting.
Which is such an uplifting half glass.
All you have to do is figure out how to get into the machine.
I think the biggest thing
Just get into the machine.
is trying to stay positive and trying to constantly remember how much you love doing it and why you're doing it. And honestly, my other piece of advice would be if you could do anything else and be happy, then do something else.
So basically your advice is, if you don't have to be an actor to live and be happy, then go do the other thing. But if you need to be an actor to be happy, then
if you feel like this is the only job that you can do to be happy, then it can be incredibly fulfilling and awesome, but it can be a huge tear on your ego. I mean, a lot of it is...
Ego?
Yeah, on your ego.
I have none left. None. I built my ego. This is all manifested. This is all fake, made-up ego.
There you go.
Mine's been shattered.
No, I'm not trying to say it's not an awesome job, and if you really, really love it, then it's absolutely worth it. But if there is something else that you think that you could be equally as fulfilled doing, then I would do that because... Like
a doctor.
Yeah, I could have been a doctor.
Because that's like at least $112,000 a year, I think.
That's a lot more money than I make a year. That's for sure.
So if that can be fulfilling, I mean, if you like doctoring stuff, go be a doctor.
Be a doctor.
Wow. Or nurses. We need a lot of those.
Yeah.
Actually.
Nurse practitioners.
And to finish up, name 5 things every actor needs.
Headshots, resume. Can that kind of be tied in?
I always think that's one.
That's one. Headshot resume.
Gotta have that.
And you gotta make sure that your headshots need to look like you. And
that's a detail about the headshot, not a thing.
No, this is all still the one. And the resumes need to be laid out clearly. And
which you can tune into my episodes about how to make a headshot and how to print a resume. So.
Number 2,
self-plug.
Audition clothes. Always have like go-to outfits that can be have the girl next door or guy next door, have the quirky chick or guy, like have different automatic go-to things that you can instantly, if you get an audition and they're like, you have to be there in an hour, you're like, I know exactly what I'm going to put on and exactly what I'm going to do and I can go. Also keep those in your car.
I was literally just about to ask you,
anyone who's seen my car knows
that you have like a clothes rack
I
in
don't.
the back seat?
I should. No, I have a back seat that is a pile
it's so Steve Martin
of
in
clothing.
Right there. That is like such
a pile of clothing, but I could.
Every 80s movie about actors.
I could literally jump and go to it. I've gotten a call where it's like you have to be there in half an hour, and I was just like, oh shit, I gotta get my clothing out of my back seat.
The other alternative to that is only work in porn, in which case it doesn't matter what you're wearing.
Well, no, but then you gotta have like the lingerie on hand because
not guys.
Not guys.
Yeah, you just need a
girls.
big dick. But that's not one of her 5 things.
And you need stamina. For porn.
Yeah. But not one of your 5 things.
That's not one of my 5 things.
Stamina?
I don't. Stamina. No, for porn. That's one of the porn things.
Right. So your 2 things. Have you listed 2?
2. Headshot resume. Go-to outfits.
Go-to fits.
Number 3 that you need to be an actor. Supportive friends who keep you down to earth.
Okay.
And who will be honest with you in a nice, constructive way. But will be honest with you. It's really hard to think of things on the spot. Like this.
I feel like if maybe she tuned into a different episode, she would
have because I never watch the episodes. For everyone who sees me share the episodes all the time.
It's true. Shayna here does share a lot of my work, and I really do appreciate you for that. That's fantastic.
Thanks, Christian. I need to continue my list. Number 4.
And for the record, number 3 is supportive friends.
Makeup for girls. Always have makeup handy to.
Like what's the emergency makeup kit?
I mean, for me, it's concealer, powder, mascara. That's just those are like
lipstick's not in that.
I tend to do a lot of like chapsticks and lip glosses. Those are just kind of always, but sure, like some sort of lip something.
Something to light it up.
Something to gloss it or give it some color. And lastly, I would say a comfortable pair of shoes.
A comfortable pair of shoes. Are these a sexy pair of shoes?
No, these are, scratch that, have multiple, just like the clothes, have multiple pairs of shoes. That could go with the clothes.
That could go with the clothes.
That could go.
That could be audition fits. That could be still number 2.
That is still number 5.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I'm gonna wait for you to say something, and then I'm gonna throw this out there.
He's gonna say his
opinion. What's your 5th thing?
Now I want to say the right thing.
There is no right answer. This is.
There is. He says that.
There's
opinion. There's
That's why I
a right
asked this question of every actor, because that way everyone can see. Every actor thinks you need 5 different things. Not a single one of us knows what 5 things every actor needs.
Always have a water bottle.
Water bottle!
Your mouth gets dry. Auditions just like, you'll be sitting there, especially if it's a singing audition, and I guess like since I'm gearing more towards musical theater, definitely always have a water bottle. Because you're going to be sitting there getting ready to sing and you're just like, your mouth will never get dry, or throat will never get dry in any other situation, and you're going to be sitting there and you're just like, oh my god, there's sandpaper in my body, and you'll chug down. Maybe have a couple water bottles. You don't know if they'll have a water fountain. You don't want to drink this water.
Especially like if you're doing an audition like Nicaragua or something like that, for like a cruise line that like cruises through like the Amazon River.
Yeah, you wouldn't audition in Nicaragua, but
Nicaragua.
So,
just to recap. Alright, headshot resume, audition fits, some water, supportive friends, and
Now I've forgotten what the
rubber
other one
bands?
was. No, I didn't say rubber bands.
No, you didn't say rubber bands?
I've forgotten what the other one
Maybe it wasn't that significant.
You said them in a different order. I said headshot, resume, clothing, supportive friends, water, and the other one that if you rewind,
you can see.
Here.
Now I'm gonna point before we close out. I think that she should have added that she needs, or every actor needs, an agent / manager. Thank you so much, Shayna, for coming and spending quite a few minutes with me. I do hope that some of you guys got to learn a little bit about touring, about cruise ships as a medium for actors to book work. I know I certainly did. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, and share. If you just like these videos, my ego, which is already gone, gets a little bigger, but man.
We all want to stroke Christian's
I just
ego.
think that, you know, if you have the time to hit the like button, right, the share is like literally 1 inch.
Even more so than the like, share, because then all your friends will like it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, because also you can like your share, because your share will go up in your own feed and you can like your own stuff, so.
Mind
blown. Well, now, what's your name and where are you from?
My name is Shayna Gabrelle, and I'm from San Antonio, Texas. Spurs.
Say that again, and finish with the Spurs, and we say the San Antonio, Texas, like a statement, not a question. Hi, what's your name and where are you from? No, I'm not going to do that. So why don't you start with what's your name and where are you from?
Hi, my name is Shayna Gabrelle, and I'm from San Antonio, Texas, home of the Spurs, which is the best basketball team ever. Sorry, Lakers.
I'm going to cut that out later. All right, fantastic. Awesome, good. Great.